Okay, so today we'll be solving a question on functions. So the question says the functions f and g are defined as f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 and g of x is equal to 3x minus 5 over 2. Find, the first one is the inverse of f, or f minus 1 of x, which is the inverse of x. Then the second one is fg of x, then cfg of 4. So how do we find the inverse of the function? So the function that we have is this one. So this one is our f of x, which is equal to 2x plus 1. So you are told to find the inverse of this function. So what you do is you let your f of x be equal to y. So you let your f of x be equal to y. So our f of x will be equal to y, which is equal to 2x plus 1. And at this point, you make x the subject of the formula. So how do you do it? What you do is you make 1 cross the equal sign so that you can remain with 2x for us to be able to divide by 2 for us to remain with x. So this equation is the same as 2x plus 1 is equal to y, so that we can easily do it. This should cross the equal sign, so this will be 2x is equal to y minus 1. Since we're making x the subject of the formula, so you divide over 2 over 2, so our x will be equal to y minus 1 over 2. And in this form, when you reach at this stage, you then put y as x, or you replace y with x, because we're done, we've made x the subject of the formula. So our inverse function of x is equal to, where there's y you put x minus 1 over 2, and this is our inverse function. So I'll write our inverse function here. F inverse of x is equal to x minus 1 over 2 as our first answer. So let's B, how do we find fg of x? Now these are compound functions. Fg of x is a compound function. It's a function within another function. So what do you do? Always you start with the right. Always you start with the right side of your function. So you have two functions here. You've got f as a function. You also have g of x as a function. So what do? You first start with g of x. What is our g of x? Our g of x is this one. So you say f, because this fg of x is the same as fg of x. So you first start with what is inside. So what is inside is our g of x. So we'll put 3x minus 5 divided by 2. This is our g of x. And then at this point, since you have f of this function, so what you do is you get your function f of x, because here it's f of x, hence we have our x here. But if we were to put f of 1, we'd have our 1 here, 2 times 1. In this case, we have 3x minus 5 over 2. So we'll replace it here where there's our x. So f of this function will be 2, open bracket, our x, which is this function inside here, 3x minus 5 over 2. You close, then you add plus 1. So to simplify, you can just simplify 2 there, 1, 2 there, 1, so you remain with this. So this would be 3x minus 5 plus 1. 3x minus 5 plus 1 we simplify, so this would be 3x minus 5 plus 1 is minus 4. So this is our f of g of x. This is our f of g of x. So I'll write it on top here. So B, our f of g of x is equal to 3x minus 4. This is our f of g of x. And lastly, we're taught to find the value of we're told to find f of g of 4. Now, since we've already found f of g of x, this time we're finding f of g of 4. Where there is x here, we replace it with 4. So we'll get our function, which is f of g of x, this one, is equal to 3x minus 4. But this time they've told us that we should find the value of f of g of 4. Hence, where there's x we put 4, where there's x we put 4. So this will be f of g of 4 is equal to 3 times 4 minus 4, which is equal to 3 times 4 is 12 minus 4, which is equal to 8. And this is our value of f of g of 4. So our C f of g of 4 is equal to 8.